My husband's family didn't know I spoke their language, and I heard every horrible thing they ever said about me. I married Greg 3 years ago. His parents immigrated from Poland when he was 12, so he grew up speaking Polish at home. The whole family still spoke it during gatherings. His mom, dad, 2 sisters, and his grandma who lived with them. When we started dating, Greg asked if I spoke Polish. I said no, which was technically true at the time. But here's the thing. My college roommate was from Warsaw. We lived together for 4 years. She taught me Polish because we were bored and I picked up languages fast. By senior year, I was basically fluent. I never mentioned this to Greg because it never came up again after that first conversation. Then we got serious and I met his family. First dinner at their house, his mom served pierogi. Everyone was nice to my face. Then his mom turned to his dad and said in Polish, "She's too skinny, looks sickly. She won't give us healthy grandchildren." I just kept smiling and eating. That was year 1. It got worse. Every Sunday dinner, every holiday, every random visit, they talked about me in Polish right in front of me. His sister Kasia said I was lazy because I worked from home. His grandma called me that American girl with no culture. His dad said I was probably just after Greg's money, which was hilarious because Greg was a middle school teacher who drove a beat-up Subaru. The worst was his mom. She told Greg in Polish that he should have married Olivia, his ex-girlfriend from high school. Said it right in front of me while I was helping wash dishes. Greg just laughed and said something like, "Mom, stop." But he never actually defended me. I kept quiet for 3 years. I documented everything in a notebook. Dates, exact quotes, who said what. I filled up 2 whole notebooks. Then Greg's sister Kasia announced her engagement. Big family party at his parents' house. Maybe 60 people showed up. I brought a homemade babka because I'd learned to make it from a YouTube video. His mom took one look at it and said in Polish to her sister, "Look at this pathetic attempt. She thinks she can impress us with store-bought cake." It wasn't store-bought. I'd spent 4 hours making it. Then during dinner, his grandma said to Greg in Polish, "When are you going to find a real Polish girl and fix this mistake?" She pointed at me with her fork. That's when I decided I was done. I stood up, picked up my wine glass, and clinked it with a spoon. Everyone got quiet. Greg looked confused. I started talking in perfect Polish. I said, "Thank you all for the lovely evening. I wanted to share something. For the past 3 years, I've understood every single word you've said about me." His mom's face went completely white. His dad put down his fork. I continued in Polish. "I know you think I'm too skinny, lazy, cultureless, and a gold digger. I know you think Greg should have married Olivia. I know you call me that American girl like it's an insult. I have a notebook at home with 3 years of your comments written down with dates and times." Kasia tried to say something, but I kept going. "I made this babka from scratch. Took me 4 hours. Your mom called it store-bought within 5 seconds. I pulled out my phone and opened the Photos app. Here's pictures of me making it this morning. Timestamps included." The room was dead silent. Greg just sat there staring at me. I learned Polish from my roommate in college. I've been fluent for 7 years. I never told Greg because it didn't seem important. Then I met all of you and realized it was better to just listen. His grandma started saying something in Polish, but I cut her off. "No, I'm not done. You want to know what's actually pathetic? Talking about someone in another language when they're standing right there? That's coward behavior." I looked at Greg. "Did you know your mom wants you to leave me for your ex?" She said it 47 times. I counted. Greg's face was red. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I grabbed my purse. "I'm going home. Greg, you can stay here or come with me. Your choice." I walked toward the door. Behind me, the entire family started shouting in Polish, at each other, at me, at Greg. His mom was crying. His dad was yelling at his mom. Kasia was yelling at me to wait. I had my hand on the doorknob when a woman's voice behind me said in Polish, "Wait, let me see the girl who replaced me." I turned around. Standing in the doorway to the kitchen was a beautiful blonde woman I'd never seen before. Greg's face went completely white. His mom smiled for the first time that night. The woman walked toward me, looking me up and down, then said in perfect English, "I'm Olivia. Greg and I have been talking again for 6 months. He told me he was going to end things with you tonight, but I guess you beat him to it." She held up her phone, showing a text thread. The most recent message was from Greg, sent 2 hours ago. It said, "She'll be gone soon. I promise." I stared at that phone screen for what felt like forever. The words blurred and then came back into focus. "She'll be gone soon. I promise, 2 hours ago." While I was in our kitchen, carefully wrapping that babka in foil, while I was picking out my nicest dress because I wanted to look good for his sister's engagement party, while I was putting on the earrings Greg bought me for our anniversary, he was texting his ex-girlfriend, promising her I'd be gone. The room had gone completely silent. Even his grandma stopped muttering. Everyone was looking at me, waiting to see what I'd do. Olivia tilted her head, watching me with this satisfied little smile, like she'd won something. 6 months? I heard myself say. My voice sounded far away. "You've been talking for 6 months?" Greg finally found his voice. "Natalia, wait. It's not what you think. She's exaggerating. We just reconnected on Facebook and… Show me your phone, I said. He hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Show me your phone, Greg. His mom stepped forward. Natalia, this is not the place. You're making a scene. I actually laughed at that. I'm making a scene? Your entire family has been making me the butt of their jokes for 3 years. In my presence. And now I find out my husband has been planning to leave me with his ex-girlfriend and I'm the one making a scene? I turned back to Greg. Phone. Now. He pulled it out slowly, like it weighed 100 pounds. His hands were shaking. He handed it to me. I didn't even need to unlock it. The notifications were right there on the lock screen. 3 messages from O with a heart emoji next to her name. The first one said, "Is she gone yet?" The second, "I can't wait to finally be with you for real." The third, "Your mom says she's about to leave. Come find me in the kitchen." My stomach dropped. 3 messages, each one worse than the last. The casual intimacy, the assumption that I'd be discarded like garbage, the coordination with his mother. This wasn't a recent thing. This was planned, orchestrated. They'd all been in on it. I looked at Olivia. "His mom knew you were here?" She shrugged. She invited me. Said tonight was the night Greg was finally going to fix his mistake. I turned to Greg's mom, Helena. She was standing by the fireplace, arms crossed, chin lifted like she was proud of herself. "You invited her," I said. Not a question. Helena answered in Polish, probably thinking I'd respond in English and she could pretend I didn't understand. "Sorry, someone had to save my son from you. You were never good enough for him. Olivia comes from a good Polish family. She understands our traditions. She'll give me proper grandchildren." The word proper hit me like a slap. 3 years of trying to be good enough. 3 years of cooking Polish food and learning Polish phrases and sitting through Sunday dinners with a smile. And I was still nothing to her. Still the wrong kind of woman. Still the mistake her son had made. I responded in Polish. "You planned this, all of you. This whole party, it wasn't about Kazia's engagement. It was about getting rid of me. Kazia at least had the decency to look uncomfortable. Natalia, I didn't know about Olivia being here. I swear. I thought tonight was just what?" I asked. Just another opportunity to mock the American girl who doesn't belong? To remind Greg that he settled? Greg reached for my arm. "Natalia, please, let me explain. Can we go somewhere and talk?" I pulled away from him. "What's there to explain? You've been talking to your ex for 6 months. Your mom invited her here tonight because you told her you were going to leave me. The text said, she'll be gone soon. What exactly needs clarification?" "It's complicated," he said. "No, Greg, it's actually really simple. You're a coward. You couldn't even break up with me like a normal person. You had to do it here, surrounded by your family with your ex-girlfriend waiting in the wings. You wanted them to see you choose her over me." His dad spoke up for the first time. In English, surprisingly. "Maybe you should leave now. This is family business." I stared at him. "Family business? I've been your family for 3 years. I've sat at your table every Sunday. I've celebrated every holiday. I've listened to every insult, every cruel comment, every snide remark about how I'm not good enough. And now you want me to leave quietly so you can all celebrate getting rid of me?" I looked around the room. 60 people, give or take. Most of them relatives I'd met at various gatherings. Some of them had been kind to me. Some of them had joined in on the Polish mockery. All of them were watching this moment like it was entertainment. My eyes landed on Greg's Aunt Zofia, who'd always been the nicest to me. She was standing near the back, looking horrified. When our eyes met, she shook her head slightly and mouthed, "I'm sorry." At least one person felt bad about this. I turned back to Greg. "I want you out of the apartment by tomorrow night." His jaw dropped. "What?" "Natalia, it's my apartment too. The lease is in my name. My credit, my signature. You moved in with me, remember? Because your credit was too bad to qualify." That was true. When we'd first moved in together, Greg's credit score was in the low 500s from old student loans he'd ignored for years. I'd put everything in my name. The apartment, the utilities, even the internet. "You can't just kick me out," he said. "Watch me." Olivia stepped forward, looking less confident now. "Greg, I thought you said the apartment was yours." I couldn't help but smile. "Did he? What else did he tell you? That he owns a house? That he has savings?" Greg drives a 15-year-old Subaru with a crack in the windshield he's been ignoring for 6 months. He's got maybe $2,000 in his checking account. I've seen the statements. Greg's face went from white to red. "Natalia, stop. Why? You've been lying to both of us. Might as well clear the air." His mom stepped between us. "Enough. Natalia, you need to leave. Now. You've said your piece. You've embarrassed yourself and my family. Go." I looked at Helena. Really looked at her. This woman who'd smiled at me for 3 years while calling me worthless behind my back. Who'd served me food while wishing I'd disappear. Who'd hugged me at holidays while planning to replace me. "You know what, Helena? I feel sorry for you." She blinked. "What?" "I feel sorry for you. You spent 3 years hating someone you never bothered to know. You never once tried to understand me or accept me. You just decided I wasn't good enough because I wasn't Polish. And now look at you, standing here, defending your son who lies to women, inviting his ex-girlfriend to family parties behind his wife's back. Is this what you're proud of? Helena's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. I grabbed my coat from the rack by the door. I'll send someone to pick up the babka. Wouldn't want you to enjoy something made by an American with no culture. I walked out the door into the cold night air. It was October and the wind cut right through my dress. I didn't care. I just kept walking toward my car parked down the street. Behind me, I heard the door open. Footsteps on the gravel. Natalia? Wait! It was Greg. Of course it was. I kept walking. He caught up to me, grabbed my arm. Please, just listen to me. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. I stopped, turned to face him. 5 minutes. He took a breath. Okay, I know how this looks, but it's not what you think. Olivia and I, we're just friends. We reconnected on Facebook and started talking, and yeah, maybe some of the conversations got, I don't know, nostalgic, but I wasn't planning to leave you. The text said she'll be gone soon. I meant you'd be gone from the party, because I knew you'd get upset about something the way you always do, and you'd want to leave early. That's what I meant. So you told your ex-girlfriend to come to the party because you knew I'd leave early, and then you could what? Hang out with her? Catch up on old times? He ran his hand through his hair. When you say it like that, it sounds bad. It is bad, Greg. It's bad no matter how you say it. You've been secretly talking to your ex for 6 months. Your mom invited her here tonight. Your whole family has been mocking me in Polish for years, and you never once defended me. Not once. I didn't know it was that bad. The Polish stuff, I thought they were just, being old-fashioned. You heard them call me a gold digger. You heard your mom say you should divorce me for Olivia? 47 times, Greg. You heard it and you just laughed it off. I thought you didn't understand. And that makes it okay? My shout echoed down the quiet suburban street. A dog started barking somewhere. Greg took a step back. No, it doesn't. I know that. I didn't know how to handle it. My mom she's a lot. And I thought if I just ignored it, eventually she'd come around. 3 years? You thought ignoring it for 3 years would work. I know it sounds stupid. It doesn't sound stupid, Greg. It sounds like you're a coward who is too scared to stand up to your mommy. His face hardened. That's not fair. Not fair? You know what's not fair? Sitting through dinner after dinner, hearing your family call me worthless, and having to smile because I thought at least my husband loved me. At least he didn't think those things. But the whole time you were letting them say it. You never once told them to stop. You never once said, hey, that's my wife you're talking about. You just laughed and changed the subject. I was trying to keep the peace. There was no peace to keep, but they hated me from day one. And instead of defending me, instead of being on my side, you were texting your ex-girlfriend and making promises about me being gone. The front door of his parents' house opened again. This time it was Olivia. She walked toward us, her heels clicking on the sidewalk. Greg, your mom wants to know if you're coming back inside. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was beautiful, tall, blonde, blue eyes. The kind of woman who probably never had to fight for anything in her life. The kind of woman Helena wanted for her precious son. He's all yours, I said. Olivia's confident expression faltered. What? I said he's all yours. Take him. You two deserve each other. I turned to Greg. I want you out by tomorrow night. You can pick up your stuff between 5 and 7 p.m. If you're not there, I'll put it on the curb. Natalia, come on. We can work this out. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of lies, 3 years of your family treating me like garbage, 3 years of you being too weak to stand up for me, and now 6 months of you sneaking around with your ex. There's nothing to work out. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see them standing there together. Greg and Olivia. His family's dream come true. I don't remember much of the drive home. I was operating on autopilot, my brain still trying to process everything that had happened. 1 minute, I was at an engagement party, ready to confront my in-laws about their years of insults. The next minute, I was finding out my husband had been planning to leave me, so I pulled into the parking garage of our apartment building. Sat in the car for a long time. 10 minutes maybe. 20? I don't know. My phone kept buzzing. Greg, his mom, his sister, numbers I didn't recognize. I turned it off. When I finally went upstairs, the apartment felt different, emptier somehow, even though nothing had physically changed. Same couch we'd picked out together, same photos on the walls, same everything, but it all felt like a lie now. I walked through each room like I was seeing it for the first time. The bedroom where we'd slept every night, the kitchen where we'd made breakfast together on weekends, the spare room we'd talked about turning into a nursery someday. A nursery. God, we'd actually talked about having kids. I sat down on the edge of our bed and finally let myself cry. I cried for the marriage I thought I had, for the husband I thought I knew, for 3 years of hoping things would get better with his family, for all the Sunday dinners where I'd smiled through their cruelty, For every time I'd told myself it was okay, that they'd come around eventually, that Greg loved me even if his family didn't. I cried until my chest hurt and my eyes were swollen, and I couldn't cry anymore. Then I got up, splashed water on my face, and started planning. The first thing I did was take photos of everything in the apartment. Every piece of furniture, every appliance, every item in every drawer and closet. I documented it all because I knew what was coming. The arguments about who owned what, who paid for what, who got what in the end. I wasn't going to be caught off guard again. The second thing I did was go through our joint accounts. Greg didn't know this, but I had all the passwords. I'd set up the accounts after all. His credit was too bad to open them himself. I didn't touch any money. That would look bad in a divorce. But I screenshotted every transaction, every balance, every statement. I wanted a record of exactly how much was in each account before he could try to move anything. The third thing I did was call in sick to work the next day. I needed time. Time to think, time to plan, time to figure out what the hell I was going to do next. I fell asleep on the couch sometime around 3 a.m., still in my party dress. I woke up to someone pounding on the door. It was 9 a.m. The pounding was loud, insistent. "Natalia, open the door. We need to talk." Greg, of course. I didn't move, just lay there, listening. "Natalia, I know you're in there. Your car is in the garage. Please just let me in. I stayed at my parents' house last night. I didn't sleep at all. Please." More pounding. "Come on, Nat, this is ridiculous. It's my apartment too. You can't just lock me out." I got up, went to the door, and looked through the peephole. Greg was standing there in the same clothes from last night. He looked terrible. Unshaved, dark circles under his eyes, hair sticking up in all directions. Good. I opened the door but left the chain on. "What? Can I come in? Please? I just want to talk." "We talked last night. You lied to me for 6 months about talking to your ex. Your mom invited her to the party so you could dump me in front of everyone. What else is there to discuss?" "It wasn't like that. I swear, I didn't know Olivia was going to be there. My mom did that on her own. But you've been texting her for 6 months." He looked down. "Yeah, I have." "Were you sleeping with her?" "No, God no, we just talked, that's all. I swear on my life nothing physical happened." "Then why did your text say she'll be gone soon? Why would she think you were planning to leave me?" He was quiet for a long moment. "Greg, because I told her I was unhappy. I told her things weren't good between us. I told her I was thinking about ending it." There it was. The truth. "When? What? When did you tell her you were thinking about ending it?" "A few months ago. While I was helping you deal with the insurance claim after your car got broken into. While I was covering more than half the rent because your school had budget cuts. While I was doing your laundry and cooking your meals and being your wife. It's not that simple, Nat. It's exactly that simple. I was here, being your partner, and you were on your phone telling your ex-girlfriend that you wanted out. I was confused. Things have been hard. You've been distant since the stuff with my family. Because your family treats me like garbage." He flinched. I know they do. And I should have said something. I should have defended you. But I thought you'd just learn to ignore it like I do. Ignore them calling me worthless? Ignore them saying I'm too skinny to have children? Ignore 47 instances of your mom suggesting you divorce me? When you list it all out, it sounds horrible? Yeah, because it is horrible. And you let it happen. For 3 years. While secretly complaining to your ex about how unhappy you were. He pressed his palm against the door. "What do you want me to say, Natalia? I messed up. I know I did. But we're married. Doesn't that count for something?" It counted for something to me. Apparently not to you. I started to close the door. He stuck his foot in the gap. Wait. Can we at least try counseling? Something? I don't want this to be over." I looked at him through the crack in the door. This man I'd loved for 5 years. Married for 3. This man I'd defended to my friends when they said he wasn't good enough. This man I'd built a life with. You should have thought about that before you started texting Olivia. I made a mistake. One mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was 6 months of mistakes. Every single day for 6 months, you chose to keep talking to her instead of talking to me. Every time your family said something cruel about me, you chose to stay silent. Every time you could have been honest with me about how you were feeling, you chose to tell her instead. I was scared. I didn't know how to bring it up. So you were going to what? Just let me find out at your sister's engagement party? Let your mom parade Olivia in front of me and watch me figure it out? He didn't answer. His silence was answer enough. "I want you out by 7 tonight. Don't be late." I shut the door, put the chain back on, walked back to the couch and sat down. My phone was still off. I didn't turn it on. I knew it would be full of messages. From Greg, from his family, probably from mutual friends who'd heard some version of what happened. I wasn't ready for any of that yet. Instead, I made coffee, took a shower, put on real clothes, and then I called my best friend Tessa. "Hello? Tess, can you come over? I really need you right now." She was at my door in 20 minutes. Tessa was the kind of friend everyone needs, but few people are lucky enough to have. We'd met in grad school, bonded over our shared hatred of a particularly pretentious professor, and had been inseparable ever since. She took one look at me and pulled me into a hug. I saw the texts from Greg. He's been blowing up our group chat all morning. What the hell happened? I told her everything. The 3 years of Polish insults, the notebooks I'd filled with their cruel comments, the Babka incident, the confrontation, Olivia showing up, the text messages, all of it. By the time I finished, Tessa's face was a mix of fury and disbelief. Are you kidding me? His mom actually invited the ex-girlfriend to the party? Apparently they'd been planning it for a while. Greg told Olivia he was going to end things with me. His mom was just helping things along. That's psychotic. That whole family is psychotic. They're not psychotic, they're just Polish. Tessa gave me a look. Don't do that. Don't make excuses for them. Cultural differences don't explain actively trying to break up your son's marriage. She was right. I knew she was right. We sat in silence for a while. Tessa made us both cups of tea, chamomile, the good stuff she kept for emergencies. I wrapped my hands around the warm mug and tried to organize my thoughts. Can I ask you something? Tessa said. Sure. Did you really have no idea about Olivia? Not even a hint? I thought about it. Really thought about it. There were things I ignored, I admitted. Greg was protective of his phone the last few months, always turning it face down on the table, taking calls in another room. I told myself it was work stuff, parent conferences, school drama, whatever. But it wasn't. It wasn't. And the thing is, I think I knew. Some part of me knew, but I didn't want to believe it, you know? Because if I believed it, then I'd have to do something about it. And doing something felt too hard. Tessa reached over and squeezed my hand. That's not weakness, Nat. That's being human. Is it? Because it feels pretty pathetic right now. You spent 3 years trying to make something work that was designed to fail. His family set you up from day one. They decided you weren't good enough before you'd even said hello. Nothing you did was ever going to change their minds. Then why did I keep trying? Because you loved him. Because you believed in marriage. Because you're the kind of person who doesn't give up. She paused. Those aren't bad qualities. They're actually really good qualities. They just got exploited by really bad people. I thought about all the Sunday dinners, all the effort I'd put into learning Polish phrases, cooking Polish food, understanding Polish traditions. I tried so hard to fit into a family that had already decided I didn't belong. And Greg had watched me try. He'd watched me struggle. He'd watched me fail. And instead of helping me, instead of standing up for me, he'd been texting his ex-girlfriend about how unhappy he was. The betrayal hit me fresh all over again. Not just the lie about Olivia, but the years of passive acceptance. All those times he could have said something, done something, been on my side, and he'd chosen silence instead. So what are you going to do? She asked. I told Greg to be out by tonight. Tomorrow I'm calling a lawyer. Good, you need to protect yourself. Do you have separate finances? I shook my head. We have joint accounts for most things, but I took screenshots of everything last night. I know exactly how much is in each account. Smart. What about the apartment? Lease is in my name. He can't fight me on that. Tessa nodded approvingly. Okay, so you have the apartment. What about his stuff? He can take whatever belongs to him. The furniture is mostly mine. I had it before we got married. The TV is his. Some books, his clothes. That's about it. And if he tries to take more? I documented everything last night. Photos of every single item. Tessa smiled for the first time since she'd arrived. Look at you, thinking ahead. I'm proud of you, Nat. I didn't feel like someone to be proud of. I felt like someone whose entire life had just imploded. What am I supposed to do now, Tess? I'm 32 years old and my marriage is over. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. First, you survive today, then you survive tomorrow. That's all you have to do right now, one day at a time. We spent the next few hours making a list. Things I needed to do. Cancel joint credit cards, change passwords on shared accounts, contact a divorce lawyer, update emergency contacts at work, tell my parents, God. They'd been so happy when I married Greg. My mom especially. She'd always worried that I'd be alone. Do you want me to be here when he comes to get his stuff? Tessa asked. Would you? I'm not going anywhere. At 5 p.m. sharp, there was a knock on the door. Greg was back, this time with Kazia, his sister. I opened the door but didn't step aside. Why is she here? Kazia held up her hands. I'm just here to help carry things. I swear. I'm not going to make trouble. I looked at Greg. You have 2 hours. Your stuff is already boxed up in the bedroom. Take what's yours and leave. He walked past me without a word. Kazia followed, shooting me an uncomfortable glance. Tessa and I sat in the living room while they moved boxes. Neither of us spoke. The sound of drawers opening and closing echoed through the apartment. At one point, Greg came out carrying a lamp. This was a wedding gift. From my aunt. It stays. Natalia, it stays, Greg. He put the lamp down and went back to the bedroom. By 6:45, they'd loaded everything into Greg's car. Books, Clothes, his gaming system, a few kitchen items I'd agreed to let him have. It all fit in his beat-up Subaru with room to spare. Standing in the doorway, Greg looked like he wanted to say something. He kept opening his mouth, then closing it again. "Just go," I finally said. "I never meant to hurt you. And yet here we are?" He nodded slowly, turned, walked down the hallway. Kasia lingered for a moment. "For what it's worth," she said quietly. "I didn't know about Olivia. I knew my family was harsh about you, but I didn't know about the rest of it. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix 3 years of cruelty. I know. I wanted you to know that not all of us were in on it." She left, following her brother to the elevator. I closed the door, put the chain on, leaned my forehead against the cool wood and breathed. It was over. He was gone. Tessa appeared beside me. "You okay?" "No, but I will be." The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork and emotions. I hired a divorce lawyer, a woman named Priscilla who came highly recommended by Tessa's cousin. Priscilla was no-nonsense, direct, and exactly what I needed. She reviewed all my documentation and said I had a solid case for a quick, clean divorce. "He'll probably try to drag it out," she warned. "Guilt can make people petty. But with the lease in your name and clear evidence that you didn't commingle your inheritance from your parents, you should be fine." I'd forgotten about that. My grandmother had left me $40,000 when she passed away 2 years ago. I'd kept it in a separate account, never touching it. Greg had wanted me to put it toward a house, but something had stopped me. Call it intuition. "He can't touch that money," Priscilla confirmed. "It's clearly separate property." At least something was going my way. Greg's family didn't take the divorce quietly. Helena called me 3 times the first week, leaving increasingly hostile voicemails. "You're tearing this family apart. You never deserved my son. Olivia will be a much better wife than you ever were." The third message was the longest. Helena went on for nearly 5 minutes about how I'd deceived everyone, how my Polish was probably basic at best, and I'd been pretending to understand more than I did, how I'd manipulated Greg into marrying me and then destroyed him when things didn't go my way. I saved every voicemail. Priscilla said they might be useful if Helena tried to interfere with the proceedings. Greg called too, multiple times. His messages were different, less hostile, more pleading. He wanted to explain. He wanted me to understand. He wanted another chance. I didn't answer any of his calls. Not because I was trying to punish him, but because there was nothing left to say. The man I'd married had been lying to me for months, possibly years. Every explanation he could offer would just be more words from someone who'd proven his words couldn't be trusted. My therapist, I started seeing one about 2 weeks after the engagement party, helped me understand why I needed to maintain distance. "Right now, Greg represents trauma," she said. Her name was Dr. Elaine, and she had this calm way of speaking that made everything feel manageable. Every conversation with him reopens the wound. You need time to heal before you can even think about closure. "What if I never get closure?" "Closure is a myth," she said. "What people call closure is really just acceptance. Accepting that something happened, that it hurt, and that it changed you. You don't need Greg's participation for that." She was right. I didn't need anything from Greg or his family. I just needed to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. The mutual friends were harder. Some people chose Greg's side immediately, mostly the ones who'd known him longer. Others reached out to offer support but didn't want to get in the middle of things. A few, like Tessa, stood firmly with me. It's amazing how quickly you learn who your real friends are when your life falls apart. 3 weeks after the engagement party, I got an unexpected call. It was from Greg's Aunt Sophia, the one who'd mouthed "I'm sorry" to me that night. "Natalia, I hope you don't mind that I'm calling. I got your number from the family directory. What do you want?" I wanted to apologize. For my family. For what they did to you. I was silent, not sure what to say. "I know it doesn't change anything," she continued, "but I want you to know that I never participated in those conversations. The Polish comments about you. And I always thought it was wrong, but I wasn't brave enough to say anything. I'm ashamed of that. Why are you calling me now?" Because what Helena did at the engagement party, inviting Olivia, setting all of that up, it was evil. There's no other word for it. And I told her so. I told her she destroyed her son's marriage and she should be ashamed of herself. What did she say? Zofia laughed bitterly. She said Greg deserved better, that you were never right for him. She'll never admit she was wrong. She'll go to her grave believing she saved her son. She didn't save him. She exposed him for who he really is. I know. I think deep down she knows too. She just can't face it. We talked for a few more minutes. Zofia told me she'd always thought I was good for Greg, that I'd brought out his best qualities. She said she hoped I'd find happiness with someone who deserved me. It was the closest thing to closure I'd gotten from anyone in that family. Update 1. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since the engagement party, and I'm finally starting to feel like a human being again. The divorce is proceeding smoothly, or as smoothly as these things go. Greg initially tried to contest the division of assets, claiming that because we'd been married for 3 years, he was entitled to half of everything I owned. Priscilla shut that down quickly. Most of my assets were mine before the marriage, and my inheritance from my grandmother was clearly separate property. In the end, Greg got his car, his personal belongings, and a small amount from our joint savings. I got the apartment, my retirement accounts, and my grandmother's money. Clean and simple. Well, mostly clean. A week ago, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Natalia, this is Olivia. I nearly dropped the phone. Before you hang up, she said quickly, I just want to talk. Please. 10 minutes. I should have hung up. I should have blocked the number and forgotten about it, but curiosity got the better of me. 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. She took a breath. I wanted to apologize. For the party. For all of it. You're apologizing to me? I know how it looked. I know how it still looks, but I need you to understand something. Greg lied to me too. I sat down on my couch. What do you mean? He told me you two were separated. He told me you'd been living in different rooms for months. He told me you'd agreed to stay together for appearances until he could figure out the right time to leave. That's completely false. I know that now, but I believed him. I believed everything he told me. He was so convincing, Nat. So sincere. He made me feel like I was rescuing him from a loveless marriage. I thought about all the times Greg had looked me in the eye and told me he loved me. All the mornings he'd brought me coffee, all the evenings we'd spent watching TV together, all the nights he'd held me close and whispered about our future. He'd been good at lying. I knew that now. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because 2 weeks ago, I found out he was doing the same thing to me. What? Talking to another woman. Someone he works with. He'd been texting her for a month, telling her the same things he told me. That we were on the rocks, that he was looking for a way out, that she made him feel things he hadn't felt in years. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So he cheated on you too. Emotionally, at least. I don't know if it went further. I didn't stick around to find out. You left him? 2 days ago. I packed my stuff and moved in with my sister. There was a certain cosmic justice to this. Greg, who'd been secretly texting his ex while married to me, had then secretly texted someone else while dating his ex. The man couldn't commit to anything except dishonesty. I'm sorry, Olivia said. I know that doesn't mean much coming from me, but I truly am. I was so sure I was doing the right thing. So sure you were the villain in this story, and I was completely wrong. What did Helena say when you left? Olivia laughed humorlessly. She blamed me, said I must have done something to push Greg away, said a real Polish woman would have fought harder for her man. Sounds familiar. I should have known. She talked about you the same way before I moved in with Greg. Always criticizing, always finding faults. I was so arrogant, I thought it would be different with me because I was what she wanted. Helena doesn't want anything except control over her son. I know that now. We talked for longer than 5 minutes. By the end of the call, I didn't consider Olivia a friend. She'd still been a willing participant in destroying my marriage. But I understood her better. She'd been manipulated by Greg just like I had. Just another casualty of his inability to be honest with anyone, including himself. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet apartment and thought about Greg. Right now, he was living back with his parents, starting over at 35 with nothing but a beat-up Subaru and a family that would always make excuses for him. He'd lost me. He'd lost Olivia. He'd probably lose whoever came next. Because the problem had never been me, or Olivia, or any woman. The problem was Greg, a man who'd rather lie to everyone around him than face a single hard conversation. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. The weeks that followed Olivia's call were strange. I'd expected to feel vindicated. Greg had gotten exactly what he deserved, right? His ex had left him for the same reasons I had. He was alone, living with his parents, probably hearing his mom tell him that the next woman would be the one. But vindication wasn't what I felt. Mostly, I just felt tired. Tired of thinking about Greg. Tired of analyzing what went wrong. Tired of being defined by my failed marriage. I threw myself into work. I'm a data analyst for a healthcare company. Not glamorous, but stable and intellectually satisfying. My boss, a woman named Renata, noticed the extra hours I was putting in. Everything okay? She asked one afternoon. Going through a divorce. I said, no point in hiding it. I'm sorry to hear that. Take whatever time you need. We can be flexible with your schedule. I didn't take time off. I didn't need time to sit and think. I needed time to be useful, to accomplish things, to feel like more than someone's ex-wife. 3 weeks later, I got promoted. Not directly because of the extra work. Renata assured me I'd been in line for it for a while. But the timing felt significant. Like the universe was telling me that my life wasn't over. It was just different. I used my first bonus check to buy new sheets for my bed. Greg had picked out the old ones. A gray geometric pattern that I'd never liked but had accepted because he'd been so excited about them. The new sheets were white with tiny yellow flowers. Bright, cheerful, completely mine. It's the small things that help you reclaim your life. Update 2, 4 months later. I hadn't expected to see Greg again. After the divorce was finalized, we had no reason to interact. No kids, no shared property, no lingering financial ties. I figured we'd just fade out of each other's lives. I was wrong. 4 months after the engagement party, I walked into a coffee shop near my office, and there he was, sitting in the corner, staring at his laptop. He looked thinner than I remembered, paler. I could have turned around and left. Probably should have, but something made me walk up to his table instead. Greg. He looked up. His face went through about 6 expressions in 2 seconds. Surprise, guilt, hope, fear. Natalia, hi, wow. Can I sit down? Yeah, yes, of course. I slid into the chair across from him. Neither of us said anything for a moment. You look good, he finally said. Really good. Thanks. How have you been? Fine. Better. Getting there. I paused. I heard about Olivia. He flinched. She told you? She called me a couple months ago. Wanted to apologize and mentioned that she'd caught you doing the same thing to her that you did to me. Greg closed his laptop, rubbed his eyes. I really messed up, Nat. Yeah, you did. I've been in therapy, twice a week, trying to figure out why I do the things I do. That's good. My therapist says I have avoidant attachment patterns. I sabotage relationships when they get too serious because I'm afraid of being trapped. She says it probably stems from my mom being so controlling when I was growing up. Your mom. I know how that sounds. Like I'm making excuses. I'm not. I'm just trying to understand. I thought about Helena, the way she controlled every aspect of Greg's life. What he ate, who he dated, what kind of wife he should have. The way she'd invited Olivia to the engagement party without telling him, confident that he'd go along with it because he always went along with it. Maybe there was something to his theory, but understanding the cause didn't erase the damage. I'm glad you're getting help, I said. Really, but I hope you're doing it for yourself, not because you think it'll change anything between us. I know we're over. I'm not delusional. He looked at me with those same brown eyes I'd fallen in love with years ago. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better, for whoever comes next, so I don't hurt them the way I hurt you. Good. Can I ask you something? Depends on what it is. Are you happy? The question caught me off guard. I thought about Everett, about Professor Waffles, about my new apartment and my job promotion and my growing sense of self. Yeah, I said. I am. For the first time in a long time, I actually am. Greg nodded slowly. Something flickered across his face. Regret, maybe. Or just sadness. That's good. That's really good. He paused. I'm sorry, Nat. I know I said it before, but I mean it. I'm sorry for all of it. I know. And I know sorry doesn't fix anything. It doesn't. But I needed you to hear it anyway. I looked at him. This man who'd been my husband, my partner, my everything. This man I'd built dreams around. This man who'd let me down in every way that mattered. You know what the hardest part is? I said. What? The hardest part isn't the lying or the cheating or even your family's cruelty. The hardest part is looking back and realizing I never really knew you. The man I fell in love with, the one who brought me flowers for no reason and stayed up late talking about our future, was he even real? Or was he just a version of yourself you were trying to be? Greg was quiet for a long moment. I think I wanted to be him, he finally said. That version, the good husband, the person you deserved. But wanting to be someone and actually being them are different things. Yeah, they are. We sat in silence for another minute. Then I stood up. Take care of yourself, Greg. You too, Nat. I left without looking back. It wasn't the dramatic confrontation I might have fantasized about in the early days. No yelling, no accusations, no tears. Just 2 people who used to be everything to each other, acknowledging that they were nothing now. It was sad, but it was also freeing. That night, I went home and thought about our conversation for hours. I'd gotten what I needed. Not closure exactly, but something like acceptance. Greg was who he was. He wasn't going to magically become a different person. And I was done waiting for transformations that were never going to happen. The next morning, I woke up and went for a run. First time I'd exercised in weeks. The air was cold and my lungs burned, but by the end I felt more like myself than I had in months. That became my routine. Wake up, run, shower, work, come home, cook something healthy, go to bed at a reasonable hour. Repeat. It sounds boring. It wasn't boring. It was rebuilding. Every small healthy choice was a brick in the foundation of my new life. Life moved forward. I started dating again. Carefully, slowly. A guy from my gym named Bennett asked me out for drinks. He was nice but boring. A woman from my building named Celia invited me to dinner. She was interesting, but we had no chemistry. A coworker's friend named Harlow sent me flirty texts for weeks before we finally met up. He was cute but couldn't stop talking about his ex. Dating after divorce is weird. You're not the same person you were before. You notice red flags you would have missed. You protect yourself in ways that sometimes feel excessive. You wonder if you'll ever be able to trust anyone again. Tessa told me I was being too picky. My therapist, yes, I started therapy too, told me I was being appropriately cautious. My mom told me I should be grateful that any man was interested at all. I tried to ignore all three of them and just trust my own instinct. 6 months after the engagement party, I went to a housewarming party at Tessa's new apartment. She'd finally moved out of her shoebox studio and into a real one-bedroom with actual closet space. "There's someone I want you to meet," she said, pulling me toward the kitchen. "His name is Everett. He works with my boyfriend. He's recently divorced too. I think you'd really hit it off. Tess, I don't need to be set up. I know you don't need to be. But he's cute and smart and genuinely one of the good ones. Just talk to him for 5 minutes. If you hate him, you never have to see him again." She was so excited that I couldn't say no. Everett was standing by the counter, pouring himself a beer. He was taller than I'd expected, with dark curly hair and a nervous smile. When Tessa introduced us, he shook my hand a little too firmly. "Sorry," he said immediately. "I'm bad at parties. I tend to overcompensate with aggressive handshakes." I laughed. I once knocked over an entire table of appetizers at a work event because I was trying to wave at someone. We all have our party disasters. An entire table? Shrimp everywhere. I still can't eat seafood without feeling phantom shame. He grinned. And just like that, we were talking. I learned that Everett was a high school English teacher who loved science fiction and terrible puns. His wife had left him 2 years ago for her yoga instructor. He had a golden retriever named Professor Waffles. He'd grown up in a small town in Oregon and still called his parents every Sunday. He wasn't Greg. He wasn't the opposite of Greg either. I'd learned that wasn't the goal. He was just Everett, his own person, with his own baggage, trying to figure out life after heartbreak. We exchanged numbers at the end of the night. He texted me the next day. Not playing games, not waiting the appropriate amount of time. Just a simple message. "I really enjoyed talking to you. Would you want to get coffee sometime?" I said yes. Update 3. 1 year later, I need to tell you about what happened at Kazia's wedding. Yeah, Greg's sister actually got married. The engagement party where my entire life imploded? That was just the beginning for her and her fiancé, a guy named Patrick. They got married a year later. I wasn't invited, obviously, but Tessa had been doing some light social media stalking on my behalf. "Just keeping tabs on the family," she said. "Know your enemy." So she saw when Kazia posted about the wedding date and venue. I didn't plan to think about it much. Why would I? That family had nothing to do with me anymore. But then a week before the wedding, I got a letter. An actual physical letter. Handwritten, delivered to my apartment. It was from Zofia, Greg's aunt, the one who'd called to apologize months ago. "Dear Natalia," it began. "I know this is unexpected. I'm writing because something has happened, and I believe you deserve to know about it. The wedding next weekend will be more eventful than anyone anticipates. Helena has arranged for Greg to give a speech, and she's helped him write it. The speech includes some unkind things about you. Helena wants to use the occasion to clear the family name and blame you publicly for the divorce. I've tried to convince her this is wrong, but she won't listen. I believe you should know what's being planned. I'm sorry I can't do more. Zofia." I read the letter 3 times. Then I called Tessa. "You're not going to believe this." Tessa came over immediately. She read the letter, then threw it on the coffee table in disgust. "Are you kidding me? She's going to use her daughter's wedding to trash talk you? That woman is genuinely unhinged." "It's Helena. I'm not surprised." "What are you going to do?" I thought about it. My first instinct was to do nothing. Let them say whatever they wanted. I didn't need to defend myself to people I'd never see again. But then I thought about all those years of sitting quietly while they mocked me. All those Sunday dinners where I smiled and nodded and pretended not to understand their cruelty. All those moments where I chose peace over truth. Empty? Look where peace had gotten me. "I have an idea," I said. The wedding was on a Saturday at a venue outside of the city, a restored barn that had become popular for rustic chic ceremonies. I didn't go inside, obviously, but I didn't need to. Tessa had a friend who worked as a server at the catering company. For a modest fee, this friend was willing to record the speeches and send them to us in real time. At 7:42 p.m., my phone buzzed. A video file. Greg was standing at the microphone, looking uncomfortable in a suit that didn't quite fit. Helena was beaming from the head table. "I want to talk about love," Greg began. "Real love. The kind my sister and Patrick have found." He paused. "I thought I had that once, but I was wrong. Some people aren't capable of real love. They're too selfish. Too American." Light laughter from the crowd. "My ex-wife. Some of you met her. She didn't understand our family, our traditions. She thought she could pretend to be one of us by learning a few Polish words, but she never really belonged. She was always looking for something to criticize, something to complain about." I watched Helena nodding along, a satisfied smile on her face. When she left, she tried to take everything I had. She tried to turn people against me. She even tried to turn my own mother against me. More nodding from Helena. But here's what she didn't understand. Family is everything. Family sticks together. Family forgives. He raised his glass. "To Kasia and Patrick, May you find the real love that some of us never could. The video ended. Tessa was staring at me. That lying piece of... Wait, I said. I'm not done. I pulled up the email I drafted earlier that week. Attached to it were screenshots of Greg's text messages to Olivia. Screenshots of his messages to the woman he'd cheated on Olivia with. The audio from our divorce proceedings where he'd admitted under oath to emotional infidelity. And finally, a copy of the 2 notebooks I'd filled with 3 years of his family's Polish insults, translated into English, with dates and witnesses. I'd sent this email to every address I could find connected to the wedding party. Kazia's wedding website had an RSVP function that collected email addresses. Over 200 contacts. The email had been timed to send at 7:45 p.m., 3 minutes after Greg's speech was scheduled to end. Subject: the real story of Greg Kowalski's divorce. The body of the email was clear and factual. No emotion, no editorializing, just evidence. I'd learned from 3 years of documentation that the truth speaks loudest when you let it speak for itself. I included screenshots of Greg's text messages to Olivia, complete with timestamps showing they began while we were still living together as husband and wife, screenshots of his messages to the other woman, the one he'd started texting while dating Olivia, audio from our divorce proceedings where Greg, under oath, admitted to emotional connections with multiple women during our marriage, a transcript of his speech at Kazia's wedding, obtained through the server where he called me selfish and too American, and finally, the translated contents of my 2 notebooks, 247 pages of documented insults from his family over 3 years. The email ended with a simple statement. I stayed silent for 3 years while this family insulted me to my face. I tried to leave quietly when the marriage ended, but since they've chosen to use a wedding celebration to publicly lie about me, I believe the guests deserve to know the truth. Natalia. Tessa was watching me with wide eyes. You didn't. I did. Natalia, that's... She started laughing. That's the most savage thing I've ever witnessed. I'm done being the bigger person. I was the bigger person for 3 years. I was quiet, I was polite, I documented everything and never said a word. And they still used Kazia's wedding to trash me. So now they can all read exactly what happened. Every single guest. My phone started buzzing. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Is this Natalia? I just received your email. I'm Patrick's cousin. I had no idea about any of this. This is Agnieszka from the bride's side. I always thought something was wrong with how that family talked about you. Now I understand. Natalia, this is Marek. I used to work with Greg. He told us you were crazy and left him for no reason. I'm sorry I believed him. And then, the one I'd been waiting for. A text from a number I recognized. Kasia, how could you do this? This is my wedding day. You've ruined everything. I typed back. Your family used your wedding day to publicly lie about me. I just set the record straight. Congratulations on your marriage. Then I blocked her number. The fallout from the wedding was spectacular. According to Zofia, who called me the next day, Helena had completely fallen apart when people started checking their phones during the reception. The guests who'd received my email started whispering, then talking openly, then confronting Greg and Helena directly. Greg had tried to claim the emails were fabricated, but too many people recognized the text message format. Too many details matched what they'd privately observed over the years. Kazia had burst into tears and locked herself in the bridal suite. Patrick had gotten into a shouting match with his new father-in-law. The reception had ended 2 hours early. It was chaos, Zofia said, with what sounded like barely suppressed glee. Absolute chaos. Helena kept screaming that you'd ruined everything. But honestly, most people were saying she got what she deserved. I didn't want to ruin Kazia's wedding. Maybe not. But you didn't start this, Natalia. They did. They chose to use her wedding as a platform to attack you. You just responded. I thought about that for a long time after we hung up. Had I gone too far? Part of me thought yes. Kazia hadn't known about Greg's speech, probably. She'd been caught in the middle of her mother's vendetta. But another part of me remembered all those Sunday dinners, all those comments about how lazy I was, how cultureless, how unworthy. Kasia had participated in those. She'd called me pathetic. She'd laughed at her mother's jokes. She wasn't innocent. None of them were. A month later, I moved. Not far, just a different neighborhood. But I wanted a fresh start. New apartment, new coffee shops, new grocery store, places where no one knew my history. Everett helped me carry boxes up 4 flights of stairs. We'd been dating for 6 months by then. Official, exclusive, meeting each other's parents official. He knew everything about the Greg situation. I'd told him on our 3rd date, figuring he might as well know what he was getting into. His response had been simple. That family sounds terrible. And for what it's worth, I would never let anyone talk about you like that. Not even my own mom. It was such a small thing. Such an obvious thing. But after 3 years with Greg, it felt revolutionary. You okay? Everett asked, setting down a box of books. You've been quiet, just thinking about how different things are now. Good different? I looked around my new living room. Boxes everywhere. Afternoon light streaming through the windows. Professor Waffles sprawled on my new couch, shedding golden fur on the yellow flower sheets I'd washed and kept. Yeah, I said. Good different. Final update. 2 years later. It's been 2 years since the engagement party where my marriage ended. 2 years since I stood in front of Greg's entire family and finally spoke the truth. I'm sitting in my apartment, a different one now. Bigger, with a balcony that catches the sunset. Writing this update because something happened today that made me realize the story is finally over. I saw Helena. I was at the grocery store debating between 2 types of olive oil when I heard someone say my name. I turned around, and there she was. Greg's mother. The woman who'd spent 3 years trying to destroy me and then blamed me when it worked. She looked older, thinner. The confident woman who'd presided over Sunday dinners and orchestrated ex-girlfriend ambushes was gone. In her place was someone who looked tired and small. Natalia, she said again. I didn't expect to see you here. I live in this neighborhood now. Oh. She clutched her shopping basket like a shield. I heard you'd moved. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. 2 people who'd once shared holiday meals and now had nothing to say to each other. How is Greg? I asked. I didn't really want to know, but the silence felt unbearable. He's fine. Still living at home. He's dating someone new. A nice girl from the church. That's good. She's Polish. I'm sure your family approves. Helena flinched. I hadn't meant it as a barb. Well, maybe I had a little, but she took it as one. Natalia, She stopped. Tried again. What happened between our families? It wasn't... What? It wasn't what? It wasn't how I wanted things to go. How did you want things to go, Helena? You invited your son's ex-girlfriend to an engagement party so he could publicly dump me. You helped him write a speech at your daughter's wedding calling me selfish and too American. Which part of that wasn't how you wanted it to go? She looked down at her basket. Produce and dairy and the mundane necessities of life. I thought I was helping him, she said quietly. I thought you were wrong for him. I thought he'd be happier with someone else. And is he? Happier? She didn't answer, which was answer enough. I'm happy, I said. I have a good job. I'm in a healthy relationship. I have friends who respect me and a life that I built myself. I'm doing great. I'm glad. I don't need you to be glad, Helena. I don't need anything from you. I haven't for a long time. I picked up both olive oils and put them in my basket. Decided I'd figure it out at home. Goodbye, Helena. I walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. When I got home, Everett was on the couch with Professor Waffles, grading essays. We'd moved in together 3 months ago. His books mixed with mine on the shelves. His coffee cups next to mine in the cabinet. Our lives intertwined in all the small, ordinary ways that matter. You okay? He asked, looking up. You've got a weird expression. I just saw Greg's mom at the grocery store. Oh, he set down his pen. How was that? Strange? She seemed diminished, like all the fight had gone out of her. Did she say anything? She tried to explain. Or justify. I don't know. I didn't really let her finish. Good for you. I sat down next to him, leaning into his warmth. Professor Waffles immediately tried to climb into my lap. I used to fantasize about that moment, you know? Confronting her, telling her exactly what I thought of her. I imagined yelling, crying, making her understand how much she'd hurt me. And instead I just felt done. Not angry anymore. Not hurt. Just done. He put his arm around me. That's called healing. It looks good on you. I thought about everything that had happened since that engagement party. The divorce, the fallout, the emails I'd sent to the wedding guests, the months of therapy and self-reflection, the new apartment, the new relationship, the new life. Greg had tried to break me. His family had tried to break me. And instead, I'd broken free. I never did find out what happened to those 2 notebooks. The ones I'd filled with 3 years of Polish insults. I might have thrown them away. I might have burned them. I honestly can't remember. They don't matter anymore. What matters is this. I survived. Not just survived, thrived. I took the worst thing that ever happened to me and turned it into a new beginning. My husband's family didn't know I spoke their language. They said terrible things about me for 3 years. They tried to destroy my marriage from the inside. And when that wasn't enough, they brought in the ex-girlfriend to finish the job. But here's what they didn't understand. The same persistence that let me listen to their cruelty for 3 years also let me rebuild my life after it ended. The same stubbornness that made me document every insult also made me refuse to give up when everything fell apart. They thought I was weak. They thought I was pathetic. They thought I'd crumble. They were wrong. Last week, I got a wedding invitation. Tessa's finally getting married to her boyfriend of 5 years. You have to come, she said when I called to RSVP. You literally have to. I've already told my coordinator that if you're not in the front row, the whole thing is canceled. I'll be there. With Everett? With Everett. Good. I need someone to help me translate if any of his Polish relatives start saying weird things about me behind my back. I laughed. They won't. His family is normal. Yeah, but just in case. You never know with in-laws. She was joking, but she had a point. You never do know. That's the scary part of loving someone. You're not just choosing them, you're choosing everyone who comes with them. But here's the thing I've learned. You can't control other people. You can't make them accept you or respect you or treat you the way you deserve. All you can control is how you respond. I spent 3 years hoping Greg's family would change. They didn't. They never would have. The only thing that changed was me. I got stronger, strong enough to walk away, and that made all the difference. Everett proposed last month. It wasn't fancy. We were cooking dinner together, nothing special, just pasta and salad, when he turned off the stove and said, "Can I ask you something?" Sure. He wiped his hands on a dish towel, took a deep breath, then got down on one knee. My heart stopped. I knew what was coming, but somehow I still wasn't prepared. He pulled out a ring, a simple diamond on a silver band. Not flashy, not expensive looking, just perfect. "I know you've been through this before," he said. His voice was steady, but I could see his hands trembling slightly. "I know you have reasons to be scared. I know marriage didn't work out the first time, and I know that makes this harder for you." "Everett, let me finish, please." He took another breath. "I'm not Greg. I'm never going to let anyone talk bad about you. Not my family, not my friends, not anyone. I'm never going to hide things from you. If I'm unhappy, I'll tell you. If something's bothering me, I'll talk to you about it. I'm going to be honest even when it's hard, and I'm going to choose you every single day." Professor Waffles, sensing something important was happening, came over and sat down next to Everett. His tail wagged uncertainly. "I love you, Natalia. I love how strong you are. I love how you rebuilt your life after everything fell apart. I love that you document everything important in notebooks and that you make the best coffee I've ever tasted and that you always check on Professor Waffles before we leave the apartment." I was crying now. Couldn't help it. "So," he held up the ring. "Will you marry me?" I said yes. He slid the ring onto my finger. It fit perfectly. Later, I found out Tessa had helped him figure out my size. We stood up and he kissed me, and Professor Waffles barked once like he approved. That night, we sat on the couch and talked for hours. About the wedding, small, intimate, nothing like my first one. About our future, where we'd live, whether we wanted kids, what we wanted our lives to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20. "Are you scared?" Everett asked. "A little," I admitted. Marriage didn't exactly work out for me before. I know, but I'm more excited than scared. Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense. We're getting married next spring. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. His parents are flying in from Oregon. My parents are coming from across the country. Tessa is my maid of honor. No Polish-speaking relatives, no ex-girlfriends lurking in the kitchen. No secret insults, no hidden agendas. Just two people who love each other, committing to a future together. That's the happy ending I never thought I'd get. If you're reading this and you're in a situation like mine, a partner who won't defend you, a family that doesn't accept you, years of small cruelties that add up to something unbearable, I want you to know something. You can leave. You can walk away. You can start over. It won't be easy. It'll hurt in ways you can't imagine. You'll question yourself. Wonder if you're overreacting. Convince yourself that maybe it'll get better if you just wait a little longer. But it won't get better. Not unless something changes. And sometimes the only thing you can change is your own situation. I lost 3 years of my life to a man who didn't deserve me and a family that hated me. I can't get those years back, but I can make sure I don't lose anymore. So here I am, 35 years old, engaged to a man who treats me like I matter, surrounded by friends who have my back, building a life that's entirely my own. The woman who sat through years of Polish insults with a smile on her face is gone. In her place is someone who knows her worth and won't settle for anything less. Greg's family thought they were getting rid of me. Instead, they set me free. And for that, only for that, I'm almost grateful. Bonus update. What happened to everyone? People keep asking me what happened to all the players in this drama. So here's the update you've been waiting for. Greg is still living with his parents, the nice Polish girl from church that Helena mentioned. They broke up after 4 months. According to Zofia, who still updates me occasionally, the girl got fed up with Helena's constant interference. Apparently, Helena tried to plan their entire relationship, where they'd eat, where they'd vacation, when they'd get engaged. The girl finally told Greg that until he stood up to his mother, she couldn't be with him. Greg didn't stand up to his mother. Big surprise. He's now 37, living in his childhood bedroom. So, teaching middle school history and grading papers at the same kitchen table where his mom used to insult me. I don't feel sorry for him. He had every opportunity to choose differently, and he chose his mother every single time. Helena is still Helena, but her power in the family has weakened. After the wedding fiasco, when I sent those emails to all the guests, her reputation took a hit. Extended family members who used to look up to her started seeing her differently. Some of them even apologized to me directly, saying they'd had no idea how bad things really were. The worst blow for Helena came about 6 months after Kazia's wedding. Greg's dad, Tomasz, finally snapped. 50 years of marriage, and he'd spent most of it silently accepting whatever Helena dictated. But something about the wedding embarrassment broke something in him. He moved into the basement, started spending weekends at his brother's house. According to Zofia, he told Helena that he was ashamed of how they treated me, and he was even more ashamed that he'd never said anything. They're still married. Divorce isn't really done in their family, but they live like roommates. Tomasz eats dinner in the basement. Helena eats dinner in the kitchen. Greg eats dinner wherever seems least uncomfortable, which changes by the day. Kasia and Patrick are still together. Their marriage survived the wedding disaster, barely. Patrick's family was furious about the whole thing, and there were some tense holidays for a while, but eventually things calmed down. Kasia never reached out to apologize to me. I didn't expect her to. She's her mother's daughter, after all. Some patterns are hard to break. The one silver lining, I heard from Zofia that Kasia has been pushing back against Helena more lately, standing up for herself, setting boundaries, refusing to participate in the endless criticism sessions. Maybe watching what happened to her brother's marriage scared her. Maybe she doesn't want to end up like him. Olivia landed on her feet. Last I heard, she'd moved to a different city and started fresh. She reached out to me one more time, about a year after she left Greg. Said she wanted to thank me for being gracious when she'd called, and that talking to me had helped her see things clearly. I wished her well. I meant it. She wasn't my enemy, she was just another person Greg had deceived. We both deserved better than him. As for my family, they've been amazing through all of this. My mom cried when I told her what had really been happening at those Sunday dinners. She'd known something was wrong, she said. She'd seen how tired I looked after visiting Greg's family, but she hadn't wanted to interfere. I should have asked, she said. I should have paid more attention. It's okay, Mom. I didn't tell anyone what was happening. How could you have known? My dad was less verbal about it, but he showed up in his own way. He drove 6 hours to help me move into my new apartment. He built me a bookshelf from scratch, painted it yellow to match my new bed sheets. He hugged me when he left and said, "I'm proud of you, kiddo." Those 4 words meant more than any speech he could have given. And Tessa. God, I don't know what I would have done without Tessa. She was there for every breakdown, every angry rant, every 2 a.m. phone call when I couldn't sleep. She never once told me to calm down or get over it or see things from Greg's perspective. Your feelings are valid, she said. Your anger is valid. Feel whatever you need to feel. That's what a real friend does. They don't try to fix you or manage you or minimize your pain. They just sit with you in the darkness until you find your way back to the light. There's one more thing I need to tell you. Remember those notebooks I mentioned? The ones where I documented every Polish insult for 3 years? I found them last week. They were in a box I hadn't unpacked yet. One of those boxes that follows you from apartment to apartment without ever being opened. I sat on the floor and read through them, page after page of dates and quotes, and my own careful handwriting. September 15th, Helena said I looked too skinny for childbearing. Zofia was present. October 3rd, Grandma called me that American girl for the 15th time. Greg laughed. November 22nd, Kasia said working from home wasn't a real job. Helena agreed. December 25th, Christmas dinner. Helena told Greg in Polish that she'd prayed for him to find someone better. I was sitting 3 feet away. 247 pages. 2 notebooks front and back. 3 years of cruelty. Meticulously recorded. I thought about burning them, making some kind of symbolic ritual out of it, releasing the past, letting go, moving on. But then I had a different idea. I typed up every single entry, organized them by date, by person, by type of insult, created a document that was 47 pages long. Then I sent it to Greg. No message, no explanation, just the document. His response came 3 hours later. I had no idea it was this bad. I didn't write back, because here's what I realized. Greg always knew. He heard those comments. He was there for every dinner, every holiday, every random visit. He chose not to acknowledge it. He chose to stay silent. He chose to prioritize his mother's comfort over his wife's dignity. I had no idea isn't an apology. It's an excuse. And I'm done accepting excuses from people who had every opportunity to do better. Everett asked me once if I had any regrets. Regrets about what? I asked. About Greg. About the marriage. About all of it. I thought about it for a long time. I regret staying as long as I did, I finally said. I regret hoping things would change when they clearly weren't going to. I regret all the energy I spent trying to win over people who had decided to hate me before they even met me. But I don't regret the experience. Everything that happened, it made me who I am now. It taught me what I want in a relationship, what I won't tolerate, what I deserve. I never would have found you if I hadn't gone through that. He kissed my forehead. I'm glad you found your way to me. Me too. Update from 2 weeks ago. The wedding planning is going well. We found a venue, a small garden space that fits about 50 people. Exactly what we wanted. Everett's parents are ecstatic. His mom keeps sending me Pinterest boards with flower arrangements and table settings. His dad calls every week to ask if there's anything he can help with. My parents are equally thrilled. My mom has already picked out her dress. My dad is practicing a speech that he swears won't be too long or embarrassing. Tessa is fully in maid of honor mode. She's created spreadsheets, timelines, backup plans. She says she won't let anything ruin this wedding. Nothing? I asked. Nothing. I will personally tackle anyone who tries to cause drama. I've been doing CrossFit. I can take them. I believe her.